Did you just get a Cricut machine, or you want to get one and you have no idea where to start? Well, just keep watching and I'm going to walk you through all the basics you need to know. Hey you Foxy people, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to start what turned into a 5-part Cricut Basics Series. I didn't want to just brush over everything, cram it all into one 10-hour video, so I broke it down into 5 different minor videos. So this first one is going to be just the different machines, the different tools and accessories, the different materials that you need or can use with your Cricut. The second part is going to be a walkthrough of the features of the machine and a more in-depth walkthrough of Design Space, which is the program you have to use your machine. Part 3 is a more in-depth part. There's about like 4 or 5 different features on Design Space that everybody gets super confused with, so I decided to make their own separate video for those. Weld, attach, slice, contour, flatten. They definitely need their own video. And then part 4 is going to be how to download fonts from other websites and be able to upload them and use them in your projects. And then part 5 will be uploading images from Google or other sites to be able to make them into an SVG, which is a cuttable image to use in any one of your projects. When I first got my machine, I was super overwhelmed. It sat in its box for 8 months before I even took it out. So I understand the confusion and the anxiety when it comes to these new machines. I did binge watch a lady called Auntie Tay. She has amazing informational videos. I'll link her channel down below if you want to follow along with her as well. But I found like I had to watch a whole bunch of videos just to get one question answered in the beginning. And I didn't really like that. So between binge watching all those videos and a lot of trial and error, I feel pretty confident with the Cricut. So I'm hopefully going to give you videos that you only have to watch one. You don't have to search the internet and find 5 different videos just to get your one question answered. So before we get started, I do have a couple disclaimers I want to make. I do have notes that I'm going to be looking at just because I want to make sure that I get all the information correct and accurate so that you guys leave this video knowing what you're doing. Second disclaimer is the machine I have is called the Cricut Explore Air 2. So when I'm explaining things through the videos, that's the machine I'm going to be working with, but I will tell you if you have the Maker or the One, what's different in those and how you would do it differently. And lastly, I don't have all the tools that Cricut supplies or offers. I have what I need. So if I talk about a tool that I don't have, I will pop up a picture so that you can basically put a face with a name. Cricut came out with a bunch of other machines back in the day, the Expression and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to talk about those. I don't know anything about those. The 3 major machines that I will talk about are the more popular ones that people have nowadays. So like I said, I have the 2. The one before that is the Explore Air 1. They're very similar. They look the exact same. The only difference is that the 2 has 2 ports in it, so one with the blade, one where you can add a pen or a scoring tool or whatever attachment. The 1, it only has the 1 port for the blade. You can use these other accessories, you just have to remove the blade and insert whatever tool you're using, the pen or the scoring tool or whatever the case may be. Second difference is that the 2 cuts 2 times faster on a couple different materials, like certain vinyls, certain iron-ons, whatnot. That's really the only two differences between the 1 and the 2. The 1 price range is about $135 and the 2 is about $200. So it's quite the difference in pricing. So if those two things aren't important to you, absolutely you can go for the 1 and it will do all the projects that you want to do basically. The newest machine is called the Maker. This is supposedly the last machine that Cricut's ever going to make. They're making it so it's adaptable to any new blades they come out with or any new accessories they come out with. Will supposedly be able to attach to this machine. You won't ever have to buy another machine for the rest of your life. This machine has a deep cut blade, a knife blade, and a rotary blade so far that are not compatible with the Explorer Air series. Basically, it can cut through chipboard and like thin wood, and it's easier to cut through fabrics. So you can cut fabrics on the Explorer series. You would just have to use like a special bonding agent to keep the fabric stiff and stuck to the mat. Whereas with this one, they have the proper blade to be able to just roll through the fabric and not lift it up. This machine prices at about $349 to $400, depending on sales and whatnot. So to me, that extra money just wasn't worth it. I don't do fabric projects, and if I did, I can use the special bonding agent. I basically just do vinyl, like decals and shirts, so the Explorer Air 2 works perfect for me. The last machine I'm gonna talk about in this category is the Easy Press. It heats to the perfect temperature in a quick time, and you have to use pressure on it. So I've heard very mixed reviews about this. A lot of people just call it a glorified iron, and then there's some people that swear by it. So it's totally your preference. I used an iron for years with absolutely no problems until my husband got me a heat press for Christmas this year. I absolutely love it. I'll put a link in the description box to the one that I have if you're looking at that. But if you're just starting out and you're on a budget or whatnot, definitely stick with an iron. It works perfect. I will have a video showing the differences between how to make a shirt with a heat press, and how to make a shirt with an iron. And either way, they're super easy. I don't have an Easy Press. I can't speak on it personally. I can just tell you the reviews that I've heard. If I find someone that has one and I can borrow it, maybe I'll throw it into that different video. They have 3 different sizes for the Easy Press. So they have a 6x7, so for little projects, and that values at $99.99. The 9x9 is about $150, and the 12x10 is about $200. So again, if you're going to be making lots of shirts and you don't want to go the route of a heat presses range about $250 to $3 or $4 depending on where you live. So if you don't want to use an iron, you're going to be doing lots of projects and you don't have the budget for the heat press, you can use the Easy Press. Cricut offers a ton of tools and accessories to go along with your projects. If you're looking on the website or in stores and you see all of them, don't get overwhelmed. You really don't need them all. Whatever tools you do need will depend on what projects you're doing. I only have the ones that I absolutely need, except I did get some in a bundle for Christmas one year. I would never have bought some of these tools like on their own, but it was a gift and I do use them and I appreciate it. However, a lot of these tools, there's things lying around your house that you could use as alternatives. So again, if you're just starting out and you're on a budget, don't freak out thinking that you can't do anything because you don't have the money to get these tools, and you don't need them. You don't need all of them, at least. Your girl is cheap. I have found a ton of alternatives to use, so don't worry about it. I will let you know when we get there. So the one tool that you do absolutely need, and I think every time you get a new machine, it comes with it anyway, so it's not extra money you have to put out, is a mat. So mats are used to put the vinyl, you attach the vinyl onto the mat, and this is what feeds through the machine to cut it. So there's 4 different mats. There's a blue one, which is light grip. That goes for cardstock, paper, anything that you don't want to get stuck to the mat and leave behind like residue or whatnot. And then the green one is the standard mat. Mind you, mine's very dirty. This one I use for cardstock. I don't have a blue mat. I use this one for cardstock, so I leave it dirty and less sticky. I do have another green one that's in a better condition that I use for what green mats are normally used for, which is vinyl and iron-on. Basically just things that will flop around on the mat if they don't have a little bit more grip, okay? If your mat does get dirty like this and you don't have the money to go buy a new one, you can always tape down the corners of your vinyl so that it doesn't move around, or you just wash it off with soap and water and it gets clean and it's re-sticky. Then there's a purple mat. They call it the strong grip mat. It was used for fabric before the maker came out. It's used for like leather and thicker materials that would slide around on the standard grip mat. When the maker came out, they came out with a pink mat, which is called the fabric mat. Self-explanatory. Again, if you only have the green mat, that's fine. You would just, for fabric, you would have to use that bonding agent and you would just tape down the corners if it's not sticky enough. You can make do with what you have. You don't have to buy all these new things. Each mat comes in 2 sizes. So this is like the standard one, 12 by 12. If you want to make bigger projects, bigger wall decals, anything over 11.5, your machine will tell you to get the bigger mat. So this is a 12 by 24. Cricut, when it's cutting, it gives a 1/2 inch parameter around each side. So that's why I say if your design is larger than 11.5 inches, it will tell you that you have to use the larger mat. There are ways to maneuver it in the program, and when I get to that video, I will show you how to do that. So the most important tool I would say that everybody really does need is a weeding tool. I've heard of people using dental tools, toothpicks, anything with like a sharp point. This is used to weed away the excess vinyl that you don't need and leave the stuff that you do need on your mat. The second one is tweezers. This can be used the same as this. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably pick the tweezers because it will help pick up those small details. So if you're cutting out a face and you need to get rid of the eye or the pupils, say, you would pick it up. If you had the weeding tool, pick it up and try and pull it off, or with the tweezers you would just pick it up that way. I do find these more beneficial for the smaller pieces that you need to weed out. You can use normal tweezers that you have in your house. You don't have to buy specific Cricut ones. And if you only can get one, I would say the tweezers, but the weeding tool works just as fine. Then they have the scraper. This is used to lift cardstock off your mat. So you would prop it under the cardstock and pull it up. Same thing with the vinyl, prop it under and pull it up. Another way, if you don't want to buy this, you can just flip your mat over and pull your mat off of it, which is a good alternative. You don't need this. It is helpful if you have it. I got it in the bundle, so I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't, but I do use it. It's useful if you're doing a lot of paper projects, which I don't do. I do some. I made my wedding invitations, but for the most part, I don't do a lot of paper crafting. Next we have the scraper. Oh, this is called the spatula. My bad. The scraper. So this is used to, when you put the vinyl on your mat, you would use this to flatten out any bubbles and any creases, make sure that it's flat. You would also use it to attach the transfer tape, which I will talk about, and then you would also use it to adhere the vinyl to whatever project you're putting it on, whether it be a canvas or a piece of wood or whatnot, a wall. You would use this to make sure that you stick the vinyl down. Do you need this one specifically? No. You can use a credit card, a loyalty card, any hard surface. You can even use your hands, really. Another tool that Cricut offers that I got in the bundle and I wouldn't have paid for separately are scissors. Now these do come in handy because they do have a smaller needle point, so for small intricate cuts. Why do we need scissors if we have a cutting machine? It's because if you have a smaller project, say when you're done designing your project is only 4 by 3. You're not going to want to put this whole piece of vinyl on it because then you're going to waste all of that, and that's a lot of money. So after you design it, you realize how big your design is, you can go in and measure it out and cut the 4 by 3 that you need. Another way to cut it, which I prefer over the scissors, is this cutting tool. Any paper cutter would work. I used a paper cutter before I got this in the bundle and it worked perfectly. I do love this thing. If you can't afford it, that's completely fine. You don't need it, the scissors will work, but I do find this very handy because I do a lot of the vinyl and iron-on projects. So this extends to 15 inches. So same thing, if I had a project that was 4 by 3, I would measure it out. 4, cut it, 3, cut it, and then that's my little piece that I would put on the mat to be cut. Another tool that I have is the scoring tool. This is only used for paper projects. I used it when I created my wedding invitations, but like I said, I don't usually do paper projects. So again, it came in the bundle. What it's used for is you would pop it in that second port, the pen port or whatnot. If you have the Explore Air 1, you would take the blade out and pop it in there. And what it does is it just makes a scoring line on the paper for easier folds. So if you're making if you're making cards or anything that needs to be folded, it helps with that folding line. The last tool that I'm going to show you is the pen. So Cricut has come out with tons of different pens and with different sizes too. So this is the 0.4. I think it goes up to 1, and there's all kinds of colors, metallics, glitter, all kinds of things. So basically, again, you put it in that second port, or with the Explore Air 1, you take the blade out, pop this in, and then when you're done, you take it out and put the blade back in. Now the computer will tell you, if you have the Explore Air 1, the computer will tell you when to take the blade out and put the pen in and when to put the blade back in. So you don't have to get freaked out thinking like, oh, you want something to write but it's going to cut instead. The computer software won't let you do that. It will walk you through all of it. So this is used again for a lot of paper projects. I wrote on my invitations or even addressing cards. It does come in handy. There are alternatives I've heard, I've never used it, that you can use like Crayola markers or other thin type pens. You would just take out the blade housing and wrap an elastic around this and pop it in. I haven't done it, so I don't want to speak on it in case I get information wrong, but there are videos about it, and maybe I'll do one day. So some of the other tools and accessories that Cricut offers, I don't have possession of because I don't use them, but I will pop up a picture to show you what they look like in case you are interested. So the paper crafting kit, this comes with a piercer, which you can make intricate designs and faux stitching designs. It basically just pierces the paper. It also comes with a quilling tool, which helps make paper flowers. So you would cut out the design, and this helps bend the flowers in such a way that you can twirl them together. It is a really cute thing, I just don't do them. And then it also comes with a distressor, which is like a little plastic piece that has small blades in the side. You would run it down the side of the paper and it distresses the edges. Again, a cool tool. I don't do paper projects. I don't have time and I don't really have a need or a want for it. If that's what you want, I think these things would be really cool to move along your business. Another kit is the sewing kit. So of course for fabric projects, this would come with shears that cut through leather, denim, and multiple layers of fabric. It also comes with thread snips, seam ripper, pins and a pin cushion, measuring tape, and a thimble. Again, if you're into fabric projects and sewing projects, you probably have most of that lying around. I have most of that lying around, and I don't even do a lot of fabric projects. The last tool I'm going to talk about, it's called a brayer. Cricut just came out with it, mainly when it came out with the Maker. It kind of looks like a lint roller, but you use it to push down the vinyl and make sure that there's no bubbles or puckers in it. Same thing with the fabric. It seems like a cool tool. I don't have it. It's new. I haven't tried it. But you can do the same thing. Again, if you're working on a budget, you can do the same thing with your scraper or even your hand. You can flatten the materials down with your hand. So don't think that you have to run out and buy all these tools. Think about what you're going to use your Cricut for and then decide what tools you need. Lastly, recently Cricut did come out with a rotary cutter. So it kind of looks like a mini pizza cutter, but it's used to cut fabric. It's more precise than cutting with scissors because you can roll it and cut out whatever pattern you have, or if you're not working with a pattern, just any fabric, leather, felt, it works better with that. So if you're using the Explorer series and you want to do fabric cutting, maybe this rotary cutter would be beneficial for you, because then you can cut out the pattern before placing it down on the mat with that bonding agent. I don't think you would really need it if you have the Maker, because the Maker has a rotary blade included in it. Other items that they have are like rulers and measuring tapes. I'm not going to go through with all that. I don't think I need to explain how to use those things. And for the most part, if you're going to use them, you probably already have them lying around your house. I just didn't want you to go on to a website or into a store and be like, what are all these things? Do I need all these things? Do I need this specific ruler or this specific measuring tape or these specific scissors? No, you can use the ones you have lying around your house. So what tools do I believe that you need when you're first starting out? I would say a weeding tool and or tweezers, and then the scraper. Again, you can use a credit card even, and it works just as well, or even tweezers lying around the house. But those are the two main tools I would say that you would need. You can use alternatives. Like I said, I love my cutter, my paper cutter, but if you don't have the budget for it, you don't need it. That's my main goal in this video, is to let you know that you don't need all this stuff. I'm going to explain to you what they do, and if you want them for your projects, then absolutely now you've been educated on them. But like I said, when I first got my machine, I was so overwhelmed with everything it could do and all these extra supplies. I thought there was no way I could do it. It sat in the box for 8 months before I even opened the box. And I wanted this machine for years. And I was just anxious and nervous that I was going to mess something up, or I didn't have the money to buy all this stuff. And you don't need to do that, okay? If you want the machine, you're excited about the machine, open it up. It walks you through the first easy card making thing. It is super easy to do, and you don't need all that stuff, okay? So the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video is the different materials that are offered and that you would use. Obviously, these are the main things you need to have, right? So I'm going to walk you through the different ones that Cricut offers, as well as the different ones that you can buy from third-party stores. So we got cardstock. Cricut offers cardboard, licensed cardstock, so Disney and Griffin, Marvel, which is also Disney. It also offers scrapbooking paper, poster board, all kinds of different papers to use. Again, you don't have to use Cricut specific materials. If you go to Michael's and you see packs of cardstock on sale and you like those, absolutely you can use those. They'll fit just as well in the machine as the Cricut ones would. So the main ones that people use with the Cricut is vinyl and iron-on vinyl, which people call HTV, just heat transfer vinyl. So vinyl comes in 631 or 651. 631 is temporary, so used more for wall decals, window or car decals, things that you want to remove eventually. They're not temporary where they're going to fall off in a day or a week or even a year. It's just temporary where eventually you will be able to remove them. 651 is considered permanent. So that's the kind of stuff that you would want to put on cups and mugs and canvases, stuff that you never want to be removed. Little disclaimer, if you're using vinyl on mugs and cups, make sure that they're hand wash only. They will not last in a dishwasher. They're not that permanent, okay? So just be careful with that. So vinyl comes in all kinds of different finishes, I guess. So there's like the normal, matte or glossy. They got glitter, holographic, printable vinyl, which means you can put the vinyl into your printer, print off the image that you want, cut it on the machine, and then stick it to whatever you want. They also offer pattern vinyl window cling, so you can make your own window stickers for different holidays. I made one for when I was helping a friend learn how to drive. I made a window cling decal on the back of my car that said beginner driver, please, or we appreciate your patience type thing. That way she could put it on whatever car she was driving that day, and it wasn't permanent. It comes on and comes off super easy. They also have outdoor vinyl, which is for more permanent things if it's going to be out in the weather, on a mailbox, on a sign at a trailer park, whatever. If it's going to be out in all the different weather, then it lasts a lot better. They also have chalkboard vinyl, whiteboard vinyl, and even stencil vinyl. So you would cut out the stencil, put it on a piece of wood, say, paint, and then take the stencil off. You can also use normal vinyl for stencils. I don't know if you would want to waste the money. So then we have HTV, or iron-on vinyl. And again, it comes in multiple finishes. So there's the normal, like just matte or glossy colored. There's glitter colored. They also have holographic, patterned, Disney themed, whatnot, and printable vinyl. Again, you would print it out and then iron it on your shirt. Cricut has come out recently with pieces, iron-on pieces or images. So there's something like a baseball or a cat or whatever the designs are. So you would print it on printable vinyl, cut it out on your machine, and then iron it on your project. I think they are pretty cool if you don't want to go through the process of designing those things yourself. So a lot of people get confused the difference between vinyl and HTV. If they buy from a third-party source or they were given a whole bunch of stuff and they don't know if it's regular vinyl or iron-on vinyl, the best way to figure it out is by looking at the back. So regular vinyl has the vinyl and then a paper back. As you can tell, this is not Cricut vinyl. This is another third-party company, which I absolutely love. Amazon has a ton of different stores. I'll link some of the good ones that I found in the description box below if you want to go that route and get kind of cheaper deals than Cricut. Although Cricut has tons of sales all the time. Antite has a coupon code for Cricut, I think. And then if you get Cricut Access, which is the membership with Cricut, you get 10% off everything that you purchase as well. So if you want to stick with Cricut brand and go that route, those are some alternatives to get cheaper products. Or again, Amazon, eBay, third-party resellers. You know what I mean. So yeah, so vinyl has the paper backing. So you would cut the design out and peel it off like a sticker, basically. Iron-On, their carrier sheet is on the front. So you'll get a shiny front and then a more matte back. So the way you cut Iron-On is that you put the shiny side down on the mat. You will mirror your image so that everything's backwards. So it will cut it out in the back backwards. So then you weed away the stuff you don't need, and you are left with this shiny stickery part that you put down on the thing that you want to iron, say a shirt. You stick it down to the shirt, iron it on, and then you will peel away this plastic part and the vinyl will be left on the shirt. Again, I'm going to make a video showing you exactly how to do these projects, so make sure you follow along and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you know when these videos come out. Some other materials that Cricut offers is fabric, pattern fabric, normal colored fabric for fabric projects, clearly. This can be used on all three machines. Again, you will just need that special bonding agent if you're using fabric with the Explore series. They offer felt, can be used on all three machines. Leather can be used on all three machines. You just might have to add a little more pressure with the Explorer ones because they don't have the deep cut blade, but the standard blade will cut through thin leather just fine to make, people make earrings and jewelry and stuff with that. They also have chipboard. Now this is only available with the maker because the deep cut blade does not fit into, or the knife blade or the deep cut blade, I don't remember which one is used for a chipboard, but it's not compatible with the Explorer series. So if you want to make wood projects and that kind of stuff, then the maker would be the machine you need. If you don't care about making wood projects, you can stick with the Explorer series, basically, is my opinion on it. And lastly, for materials, is transfer tape. So this is used for vinyl projects. You only use transfer tape in vinyl projects. This is what will take your decal, let's just call it a decal, from the mat. You would put the tape on, pick up the whole decal, stick it to the wall, smooth it down, peel the tape off, your decal is stuck to the wall. So they offer regular transfer tape, which is gray, and then they also offer the strong grip, which is the purple. This is only used for glitter vinyl. If you use this, I cannot stress this enough, if you use this on any of the other vinyl, it's gonna get wasted. It will not come off, like the vinyl will not come off of this tape. It is strong grip for glitter only. Now, alternatives to this, and mind you, a lot of the times that you buy a roll of vinyl, these will come in them. You can buy them separate, or they'll have a sheet inside the roll. What I use instead of transfer tape, and I swear by this, just plain old masking tape or painter's tape. Works like a charm, works every time, even works with glitter vinyl. Now obviously this is thin, so I would use this for, like, say, putting a name on a water bottle or something like that. Or if it's a thicker, a bigger image, I would just layer a couple pieces of tape on top of each other and use that. Or get thicker masking tape. Other people have used contact paper, just from the dollar store, just clear contact paper. I've heard of people using Glad Press and Seal. I've never used that. I have used the contact paper. It does work. I just much prefer the masking tape method, but everybody has their own preferences, right? So you do what you want to do. If you don't have any transfer tape lying around and you're doing a last minute project, masking tape, painter's tape, contact paper, even Glad Press and Seal, you'll be fine. So I know that was a long one and I'm so sorry, but again, I didn't want to just be like, here's some scissors, here's a scraper, this is what you need. I wanted to make sure that you guys had all the information possible, all the accurate information possible. So again, you're not like me in the beginning being like, oh my goodness, I need all of this stuff, I don't have the money for it, this is a waste, I'm not even gonna touch this machine because I just can't do it. I didn't want you guys to be like that. I wanted you to be informed and educated on exactly what you need and what you don't need and what these things are for, and without looking at multiple videos, of course. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments below what projects you're looking forward to doing, what's gonna be your first project. I love hearing everybody's excitement when they first get their machine. I love helping people walk them through their first project. Make sure you subscribe and follow along with the rest of the series, and then all the other videos that I'll be coming out with, showing you how to make a decal and add it, showing you how the different ways to make a shirt, whether it's an iron or a heat press, making cups. Like, I have a whole list of videos that I'm gonna be making for you guys. So hopefully you can follow along with the journey and I can answer all your questions. I promise you they won't be as long as this one. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you found this video to be informational, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.